Hi, this is Brian Venton here with another My Town Media opinion piece that I've called Townsville and the Myth of Transparency. On the 25th of April, in a mayoral minute, the Mayor moved a motion asking the Council to delegate authority to the Mayor to appoint an acting Chief Executive Officer from a short list of candidates provided by an organisation called Peak Services. The motion was voted down 9-2, and whilst the Mayor was well within his rights, based on advices to move the motion, it should be noted that Councillor Batkovic at the time opposed the Mayor's motion on the grounds of transparency. She argued that the appointment of a CEO was the most important appointment a council makes and it needed to be fully transparent in its process. She was of course correct, but transparency, it seems, has become a buzzword in this council, when in reality it seems to be relevant only in certain circumstances. Case in point being the recent imposition of paid parking meters without any community consultation has rightly angered many residents. If you're going to argue transparency, then I suggest that you also have to be willing to be transparent down the line. And clearly, in my opinion, and it seems the opinion of many other people, our council is prone to be highly selective in the application of transparency. Let me give you some more background to what I want to say. Most people would not be aware, but Peak Services, referred to above, was created by the LGAQ to provide professional services and products that local governments need, delivered by an expert team that knows and understands the sector well. Among other things, Peak Services is a recruitment agency that puts up names for administrative appointments to local councils. They offer a robust recruitment process and say hiring the right people is more important than ever before. They say, we have people working in each and every Queensland council and we understand the specific challenges faced by local government. Now, it's probably worth noting here that the acting CEO for Townsville, Mr. Joe McCabe, was shortlisted by Peak Services to fill the acting CEO role for Townsville. It should also be noted, however, as I understand it, that Mr. McCabe was responsible for the decision to lock the Mayor out of Walker Street for nearly a month during the recent budget discussion period. I understand he is also currently under investigation by the Office of the Independent Assessor and the Crime and Corruption Commission in respect to various matters. Now, be that as it may, I would imagine that all councillors would be, or they should be, fully aware of these investigations. But let me move on to another area where it seems transparency has become very selective at our council. In breaking news, I've become aware that a special meeting of council has been called for Friday the 26th of July, that's tomorrow, to formally appoint Mr. McCabe as the new CEO. Now, this development raises heaps of questions, and I suggest all residents in Townsville should be demanding transparency from their councillors in this matter. In my view, this decision has the sniff that collusion of some sort is in play that may be deliberately being hid from the public. Now, let me explain. At the special council meeting of the 1st of May, a motion was moved by the Mayor and the motion was carried unanimously. Essentially, the motion outlined an agreed process for appointing a new CEO. The hallmark of that process was intended to be as transparent as possible, so all councillors, including the Mayor, could be involved. Now, for various reasons, the council agreed to go with an independent recruitment agency called MacArthur Brisbane Recruitment Agency, rather than use the LGA Peak Services facility. A short list of potential candidates was to be provided and all councillors were to be involved in the final selection of the new CEO. But something has happened that, in my view, the public should be made aware of. My sources tell me that the recruitment process by MacArthur was partly completed by mid-June, but it seems that under advice from the Townsville Council, the recruitment agency was instructed to pause the recruitment process until a resolution or outcome was finalised in regard to the current mayoral circumstance. Now, I suggest this is an extraordinary development. Now, listen up, because it doesn't end there. It appears that pausing the recruitment process opened up a pathway over this past month that has now resulted in a move by councillors to appoint Mr McCabe himself as the new Townsville CEO. Now that means that the procurement process of transparency in accordance with the motion of the 1st of May was laid aside to create a very different outcome for Townsville. Now, I don't know what you think here, but there is something very fishy going on here. And I raise the following questions on behalf of Townsville residents that councillors need to come clean on and provide answers to. Under what authority was the decision made to suspend MacArthur Recruitment from providing a short list of candidates to be presented to council? What legal processes were followed to suspend the recruitment process? Was a motion to suspend voted on? And if so, what meeting was convened for that purpose and where are the minutes of that meeting? Was the Mayor rightfully informed of these decisions or was he excluded from the decision-making process? Which councillors were part of the decision-making process and who was advising them and what was that advice? Was the acting CEO, Mr McCabe, in any way involved in suspending MacArthur Recruitment? And if he was, what was the extent of that involvement? Now, in my view, there are a lot of questions here that need answering by our councillors. But let me make a final observation. Why would councillors take a course of action where on the one hand they were prepared to move a motion of no confidence against the Mayor, but now suddenly have no qualms in appointing a CEO who is currently under investigation? The moral inconsistency of their logic here beggars belief. There is a lot more that I could say here, but the goings-on of our councillors should alarm all of us, and we need to hold them to account for their actions. In my view, though, it appears that the special meeting scheduled for the 26th, that's tomorrow, has been orchestrated in such a way so as not to fail in delivering a particular outcome. And I suggest the whole of Townsville should be very concerned. Transparency, it seems, is a buzzword that suits some people some of the time, but when it really matters, it's probably just a myth. Now, these are my observations and honest opinions, and we'll see how this plays out in coming days. Watch this space, as it's far from over. Remember, as I always say, the things that appear are not always as they seem. Thanks for watching. Bye.